Hi, today we're learning how to make a simple chord progression like C, A minor, F, and G. Way more exciting. Because there's a way to instantly make your chord progression sound a little more spicy, a little more out there. I'll try to explain it so straightforward as possible so that everyone can understand it, even if you're not that into theory. So, let's go. I think we all know this sound. It's a sound of tension and resolution. And this is what happens when you play a so-called dominant 7th chord and it gets resolved. In the chord we find two notes that sound very dissonant to each other. The tritone, the devil's interval. And it can sound uncanny. And it makes you feel like there's something that needs to happen. It needs to lead somewhere. But where does it lead? There. One goes one semitone lower and the one semitone higher. A very pleasant sound, used in almost every song. Typically from the 5 chord to the 1 chord. The 1 chord in this case, let's say we're in the key of C, is the C chord, the key center of the progression, usually your starting point. And the 5 chord is built upon the 5th note going up from that note. So we follow the major scale, C, D, E, F, G. If you don't know the major scale, check out this video I made from my music theory series. It's very easy, I think you should know it. Or if you don't, maybe even easier, we can find it by just looking at the guitar, looking at the fretboard, because the 5th is always 1 string down, 2 frets up. That's right. So this is the C as starting point, then we go 1 string down, 2 frets up, fret 5. So this is also the 2nd note from a power chord. That's why a power chord is called C5 in this example. The 2nd note is the 5th. Or there's even a 3rd way, just go 1 string up. If you're not on the lowest string, that's the easiest way. So this is the C, and the 5th is just 1 string lower. So the G in this case. So there's 3 ways to quickly find the 5th, the perfect 5th. 1 string down, 2 frets up, or just the 2nd note from the power chord, or 1 string up. And it depends on which way is easiest. So that gives us G7 to C. Sounds very good, but a chord progression is more than just these 2 chords, right? Okay, so let's introduce A minor. We see that very often in combination with the C chord. Could be a pop song, but it's a bit boring, right? How do we spice that up? What if we find the 5 chord not from the C, but from that A minor chord, and add that chord to our progression? Wait, we've got an A minor chord. Doesn't the 5 chord resolve to a major chord? No. It works great and maybe even better on minor chords. Check it out. So how do we find the 5th again? Okay, so we play the A minor. The 5th is 1 string down, 2 frets up. So 1 string down, 2 frets up. Let's give us fret 2 on the D string. Or just a string that way, which gives us an open E. So the chord is an E. But not just any E, it needs to be a dominant 7th chord. And this is the shape I like, just adding your pinky on fret 3 on the B string. So now we've got C, E7th, and A minor. And this is the magic. How beautiful is that resolution from E to A minor in the key of C? And we played a so-called secondary dominant because it leads not back to the 1, the tonic, but it can lead to basically any chord you like. And usually it leads to a chord found in the key. So as, for example, A minor is in the key of C. It's the 6th chord in the key of C. C, D, E, F, G, A, and the 6th chord is usually a minor chord. And when that happens, we call it the 5 of 6. So we play the 5 chord, which is the E, of the 6th chord degree. So that E7th chord is not present in the key of C major, but it is a very welcome addition to preface that A minor chord because of that strong pull and that strong resolution to A minor. It just sounds so good. But let's move on because this next one is also great. So let's play the F chord next to our progression. So we've got C, E7, A minor, now to F. So the F is the 4 chord in the key of C, but it feels like there is lacking something, right? It feels like we might need to add another secondary dominant in here just before that F chord. So let's do it. What is the 5 chord to an F chord? Easy, 1 string down, 2 frets up, or the power chord. I think everyone who learns guitar learns the F power chord. So we play fret 3 on the A string, and that is a C. Wait, the C is the tonic. The C is the key center of the song. Isn't that strange? No, not at all. We turn the C, the key center, into a dominant 7th chord, the C7th, which just begs to go to that F. A very common way to move to the 4 chord actually. It happens all the time. So what do we have right now? Let's play C, E7, A minor, C7, F. This is already the perfect chord progression. So the C7th is the 5 of 4. So what we could say is that we just briefly tonicized the F major chord. We briefly see the F chord as the 1, the tonic. So we can create a little tension going there, which is just heavenly. Anyway, we move on because there's one secondary dominant we see so much that we need to add it to this lesson to make the circle go round. We like round circles, don't we? So the final resolution, going back to the C chord, remember, what chord begs to go to the C chord? That's right, we played it, the G7th. But the G7th is not a secondary dominant, it's just the dominant of the 1, and we can call that the primary dominant if you would like, but just call it the dominant. So what if we tonicized the G7th chord? What chord leads to G? So what chord is the 5 of 5? We're reaching inception levels right now, but what is the 5 chord of the G? The G leads to the 1, but which chord leads to the 5? So again, very simple, 1 string down, 2 frets up, fret 5 on the A string, that is the D. So the D we turn into a 7th chord, D7th, going to G7th, going to C. So the thing about this is that the D7th doesn't resolve to a tonic chord because the G7th isn't played as major or minor, but again going somewhere. So you go somewhere, going somewhere, resolving to C, which is very cool. And it's a classic progression in jazz. It's in this case a 2-5-1 in the key of C, because the D is the 2 in the key of C. Well, a little bit technical, but now we play it as dominant chords. So D7th, G7th to C, which gives us a little nice chromatic line on top. F sharp, F to C. Or the voicing I like a little bit better is over here, playing the D, it's just a little more intricate voicing than this one. And I like this G7th shape as well, just on mid the A string, fret 3 on the low E string, fret 3 on the D string, fret 4 on the G string. Now we just played the 3 notes that are most important. No fifth. So, But just before we go to that D chord, we touch the home for a bit, so we put a C in front of the D, which results into this very nice chord progression. Wonderful, and you can even add a melody on top of this. I think you get the idea, but there are many other ways of using a secondary dominant, and I wanted to quickly touch upon one. It's where we play the secondary dominant and not resolve as you would expect, and this is called a deceptive cadence, because it deceives you. Say we're in the key of C and we do the same thing, C, E7. But instead of going to the A minor, which you would expect, we play the F chord. And this we see a lot in blues, for example, playing the F sharp diminished after. It sounds like this, C, E7, F sharp diminished. Something like that. It's a little bit bluesy. So you play the E7 and then go to F instead of A minor. It's very beautiful. And a similar thing happens in the song Creep by Radiohead, for example, but then played in the key of G. So now we gotta transpose stuff a little bit quickly. Let's go. G to the 3 chord, B dominant 7th. But now it isn't played as a dominant 7th chord. So we can use this secondary dominant also as just a major chord. It sounds great as well. So B major, going to C minor, back to G major, Mulder thing going on. So it's G, and then the 5 of 6, C, and then C minor. So that's just good stuff. So the secondary dominant, keep it in mind, add it to all your favorite chord progressions. Just try it in every key. So say we're in the key of A major, for example, we go from A to C sharp minor. But no, just play the 5 of 3 in front. A, G sharp dim, C sharp minor. Sound great. Anyway, secondary dominance, check it out. So tabs for what I was playing are available on my Patreon page. And really, if you like the teaching of this kind of stuff and want to know more about major, minor, natural minor, Dorian, the harmonic minor scale, the modes, chord degrees, I cover it all in my guitar courses. Learn, practice, play, and next level playing. 2 guitar courses. I put my heart and soul into making these. They go way more in depth than my usual YouTube videos, and they are structured so they get, increasingly harder each time. And it just teaches you a lot about playing, techniques, and all the kind of stuff you want to know when you want to be a great all-round guitar player. So have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Cheers!